Hello everybody. Welcome to the Celeb Scope Channel. Chris Brown is letting it be known that the Super Bowl needs him to headline the halftime show. However, he got a lot of backlash for saying this because people felt like he was shading Bad Bunny's halftime show. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the halftime show, but before I do, I want to first give a shout out to Coco Jones because she sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is the Black national anthem. She sounded great, looked great. I love how her outfit was a nod to Whitney Houston's outfit. And I did see where her fiancé, Donovan Mitchell, was on the field supporting her. So, it was a great moment. Shout out to Coco Jones. I do hope that if they ever do a Princess and the Frog movie, they select Coco to play Princess Tiana because she definitely was giving princess energy. Now, let me talk about Benito, Mr. Bad Bunny himself. I have to be honest with y'all, and some of y'all may not like this, but I felt like his show was not necessarily fit for the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, this doesn't mean it wasn't good, because it in fact was very captivating from beginning to end. I love the creative direction. I like how they were going through different scenes. It was definitely cinematic, showing the culture of Puerto Rico and just the Caribbean and Latin American culture. And it didn't even have to be overtly political to make a statement. I mean, it was just showing the unity of the people and saying that we're better together than apart. The only thing that's more powerful than hate is love. And I did like that message a lot. With all that being said, I don't feel like this performance was for the halftime show. Like I said, it was cinematic. I think it was more ideal for something you would see in a movie or musical or something you would see on Broadway, but not necessarily a sporting event. And also when it came to the music, now I'm not familiar with Bad Bunny's music, even though he does have some massive records, but I'm just not his target demographic, so I don't really know a lot of his music. And also, the random placements of Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin in the show was kind of interesting. Now, I understand why Ricky Martin was there. In fact, I wish that he broke out and really sang some of his hits because, that's a whole Latin legend right there. But Lady Gaga was random to me. She sounded good, and I did like her Latin version of Die With a Smile, but I felt like she accepted the gig because Bruno Mars turned it down cause this is Bruno Mars' song too, and Bruno is actually Puerto Rican. So, I thought it would have made more sense for him to show up. But overall, I will say Bad Bunny's show was good, but I would have preferred something different for the halftime show. That's my opinion. I know some people are going to disagree with that, but I just like to see high-energy performances, hits being performed back to back to back. I want to see a show like when I look at what Beyoncé has done and Bruno Mars has done and even Rihanna. Rihanna is not on the level of a Bruno or Beyoncé, but music, when I look back at her halftime show. I really think it was one of the best because of how she utilized all the space in the stadium from the air to the field, and she was performing her hits, and that charged up everybody in the stadium. And I think that's what people want. They want music that they know and music that they could sing along to, and Chris Brown reacts to Bad Bunny's show and gets backlash. That brings me to Chris Brown because Chris Brown was paying attention to the halftime show this year. And after Bad Bunny finished, Chris Brown put this on his IG story saying, "I think it's safe to say they need me." Now, some people thought he was stepping on Bad Bunny when he said this. I think he might have been indirectly responding to Jay-Z because Jay-Z has been wearing shirts saying the game needs me, and he is the curator of the halftime show. So I think Chris Brown was kind of telling him, no, y'all need me. I think the whole situation with Chris and Jay-Z is layered, and it's really rooted over the incident that happened with Rihanna in my opinion, and because of that Jay-Z probably won't let him touch that stage. And also, Chris Brown does have a controversial history, so I think the NFL may not want to take the risk to put him on stage, but if we're being honest, Chris Brown would definitely put on a good show. He's a great performer. All things aside, the man can definitely entertain, but people have not forgotten about some of his scandals, and he did receive a lot of backlash when he said that the Super Bowl needs him. In fact, this one person said, "If I want to see a crackhead doing flips, I would go to a gas station." Another one said, "Nobody wants to watch an abuser on live TV. Sorry, Chop Brown." Another one said, "Yeah, we need you to off yourself." Oh, somebody else said, "We don't want to see this as at the Super Bowl." And they posted this clip of him grinding on Kayla Nicole. Another one said, Abuser talking about they need me. No be a prison needs. You see, this is why Chris Brown would be a controversial pick. Like, Chris Brown is not for the mainstream audience. Let's just say that. Like, he has his cult following. He has his popularity, but he will never be welcomed on a platform that big. So, he does have to hang up that dream of headlining the Super Bowl halftime show.